Hey guys, I feel bad that it's been a few days, and I haven't been able to give you an update about my surgery. Today is Sunday, April 16th, 2017, so it's actually Easter Sunday. I woke up kind of early, so I was like, oh, I finally have a chance to do like a vlog. It's just been hard these last few days with recovery and stuff. But I wanted to do a quick recount of how the surgery went and what's been going on since then and whatnot. Okay, so the day before surgery, they gave me a few instructions. I guess not the day before, but like the week before. I wasn't supposed to have any ibuprofen or Motrin or anything that could be a blood thinner and could keep me from, my blood clotting or whatever. So none of that. Sorry, my throat's still kind of messed up because when they do surgery, they put a tube down your throat, and so my throat's still kind of recovering. So if I sound sick, that's why. It's from the tube. So anyways, yeah. So there's no ibuprofen. I wasn't allowed to put lotion anywhere on my body like 24 hours before. I'm assuming just so that I didn't have gunk on my skin, so when they cut into me, there's like nothing, going into me. They wanted the night before. I had to start fasting at midnight the night before, like no food after midnight. Well, Thursday, April 13th, 2017, we went in to the surgery center. And I hadn't eaten. I think my appointment was at 10 o'clock. So me and my husband went in. My daughter just went to school, so luckily we didn't have to worry about her. Her like finding a place to go. Like she was just able to go to school. So we went to the surgery center, and then I just kind of sat and we kind of waited. We had several nurses come through, and they kept asking me literally the same questions because they kept changing nurses. Because I think my surgery got pushed back because someone's ended up being longer, so we had to wait an hour. So I was in my, hospital gown just sitting there. And it was funny because everyone because they had warmed up, they had heated up this blanket and put it on my lap to make sure I wasn't cold, because it gets pretty cold in those surgery places. But like I'm a very warm person, like I get hot easily, and literally every 5 minutes a nurse was like, oh, are you warm enough, do you need more blankets? I'm like, no, I'm like actually sweating under this thing. But then finally they were like, okay, you're ready to go. I got my IV in my hand. I got it in my right hand, and they were pumping me full of fluids, which made me feel better because since I had to fast, I didn't have any liquids. But once they were giving me fluids through the IV, I felt a little bit better and less dehydrated. I was just very surprised at how calm I was. That was the thing that really weirded me out while we were waiting. Because normally I just get so nervous, and especially with something like surgery, but I knew it was the right thing to do, both me and my husband. And I wasn't even nervous. It was so bizarre. I felt like Heavenly Father was with me, and I was being comforted and protected, and I just knew it was the right thing to do. And so I had no second thoughts or reservations about it, and I just felt really good about it. So finally the doctor comes and he talks to us about the procedure and whatnot, and tells us what to expect. And I really like my doctor. He is just a really great guy. He makes me feel very calm and at ease. And I feel like he just knew, what to do and knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for so long. So anyway, so they walked me back. I had to hold my own little drip thing that was like connected to my IV, and they walked me back to where the surgery was going to be, and that's when I said goodbye to my husband, and he would be waiting for me. And they said it would be like about 2.5 hours for the surgery if everything went perfectly. So they walk me back, and then it kind of gets a little nerve-wracking when you go into the surgery room, because it's like everyone's like got their little scalpels and they're setting everything up, and it's like, oh, it's kind of creepy. So they have you get up and lay down on the surgical table, which is like a hard bed. It wasn't too bad. And they had me put my legs up on stirrups, because they told me that they were going to check my uterus, clean it, you know, make sure everything was okay before they reattached my tubes. So I had to be in stirrups so they could have access to, you know, that area. So they put my legs up on stirrups, and something I thought was interesting was they put these things on, they wrapped them around my calves, and it was like these little things that kind of massaged my calves. And they said it was to prevent blood clots during surgery. And I know that it was for the blood clots, but oh my goodness, it was like getting such a good massage on my calves. I like didn't want to take them off. But anyway, so they like connect my, what do you call it? I can't even think. Oh, the anesthesia to my IV. And they're like strapping my arms, so you're laying like this, and they strap both of your arms down, you know, so you don't go flopping wherever. So they kind of like strap your arms like this, and it just kind of feels like really weird. And then they put something heavy on my abdomen. I don't even know what it was, but it was like they strapped me down there too. And then they put a bunch of warm blankets on you, because it's freezing in that room. Like, they make it so cold. And so I'm just like shivering. And so they put a bunch of warm blankets on you until you fall asleep. And then they obviously remove them. And I remember talking to the doctor, because he came in and we were talking about my husband's job or something. And that was the last thing I remember. After that, I was just out because they drugged me up really fast. The next thing I remember is I'm waking up and I'm in a completely different room. And I can tell that I'm in a different room. And I hear someone next to me is like a lady that I don't recognize. And the first thing that I notice is I feel this uncontrollable urge to pee. Like, I had to pee so bad. And I was trying to convey that to her, but I was like slurring my words. I might have sounded like drunk. I was like, to pee. Like, it's so bad when you're like wake up from anesthesia. You're just so out of it. It feels like it takes forever to wake up from it. And she's like, you shouldn't have to pee, because they had a catheter in you during the surgery and they just barely removed it. And she's like, but let me check. And she gets this little doodad and like puts it, you know, where my bladder would be, and it like makes this clicking sound. She's like, yeah, no, your bladder is not full. She's like, I think it just, when they take the catheter out, it can give you the feeling that you need to pee, even though you don't. But it literally, like, my bladder felt like it was burning. Like, I felt like I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And it was weird that I didn't actually need to go to the bathroom. So it was like hard for me to believe her, because it felt like I needed to go. Anyways, and then like obviously my throat, when they put that tube down your throat, it's, I remember that from the last surgery. That was like my least favorite part. And it felt like my throat had something kind of blocking it. And later I found out that you know, that hangy ball thing in the back of your throat, I always forget the name of it. Apparently it had gotten, you know, scratched or whatever, or bumped by the tube as it went down. Because later when I went home, I was trying to figure out what was so large in my throat that was like, felt like it was blocking it. It was that. It was my little hangy ball thingy. But it had grown, it had like swollen to like 3 times its size, and it was like almost as big as my throat. And I'm like, oh, I can feel it, because they told me that I would feel cramping down in like the uterus area because of what they were doing. They told me I would feel cramping, and they would give me medicine for it, but sometimes it takes a little bit for it to come through. And I remember thinking, even though I was really out of it, I remember thinking like, oh, these cramps aren't too bad. Like, it was like a mild, I guess not mild, but like regular period cramps, I didn't remember feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so unbearable. Like I didn't feel like it was really that bad. Not as bad as how my bladder felt, actually. I hate catheters. They're not my favorite. I'm just glad I wasn't awake when they put it in and took it out. So anyways, then the nurse was like, oh, do you want anything to drink? And I'm like, yes, because I was just so thirsty and my throat was killing me. And I just asked for like an apple juice because I wanted something sweet. I was just like, I need apple juice. And so she went and got me an apple juice. And then she also grabbed my husband, Lee, and brought him back so he could see me. And I just remember there was a few minutes when she was gone and Lee was standing next to me, and I was just like, Lee, like, how'd it go? Because the doctor's not going to talk to me after the surgery because I'm so out of it. So the doctor will go and talk to your spouse or whoever's with you. So Lee had a chance to talk to him about how it went afterwards. And Lee told me, I'm going to try not to cry. He was like, the doctor said it couldn't have gone more perfectly. He said there was just some scar tissue like on my colon or something like that, and they removed that. And they found a couple of polyps, like some sort of little growth things in my uterus that they just removed. And he's like, they really weren't that big a deal. It's just these weird growth things that aren't really anything. So it's nothing to worry about, and they removed them. But other than that, my uterus looked fine. Everything looked fine. And he said there was plenty of tube. Both of my tubes were healthy enough. Like they had cut them in a way when I had my tubes tied in the first place. They had cut and cauterized them in a way that it would be very easy for them to reattach them. So that was actually something that my doctor that had cut my tubes when I got my tubes tied, she had told me that even though I didn't ask her to, she was like, I did it in a way that if you ever wanted to get a reversal, it would be easy to do so. And I remember at the time just rolling my eyes and just be like, okay, whatever, I'm not ever going to get a reversal, because I was, again, just in a bad place when I had them done. But I am really, truly grateful to her for doing that for me, even though I didn't ask her to do that. I felt that she was very inspired to make it so that I could have it undone. And it made it very easy for my doctor to reattach the tubes, and he was able to sew them back together. And as my husband was reporting this to me, he had, even though it was kind of, I could see he had tears in his eyes, and I had tears in my eyes, and I was just like, I can't believe we were able to do it. Like, it's just, it's a miracle that we were able to do this. And I'm very, very grateful that it has been, you know, quite a journey for us to get to this place. But I'm grateful for everything that we've been through. And I'm grateful that we've had the opportunity to fix the mistake that we made a while back. So we got home around 4, and so we were there for quite a bit. And then, you know, I kind of just sat in this chair. This chair has been pretty much my best friend since I got home from my surgery. I've been sleeping in it. Because of the first few nights, it was very difficult for me to sleep in the bed. It's like laying straight flat. It seems to really hurt my abdomen. Luckily, last night it wasn't as bad. And so kind of sleeping in this recliner has been a little bit easier on my abdomen. But anyways, yeah, and since then, things have been a little difficult. They haven't been perfect. It's just been difficult moving around the first few days. I'm glad I was able to take a minute and kind of log this and tell you like how everything went. But I feel really good. I'm really happy that it all went well. I'm glad. I guess in a month, when we start trying to get pregnant, we'll see. We'll see how it worked out, and if the surgery was a success like we think it is. So hopefully it'll be good. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.